Hello and welcome to Just Bleed Radio's Preview Show. I'm your host Dangermouse, and joining me are my regular co-host, No Special aka Austin, and of course our hard-working editor, Super Dave Fairtex. Today we'll be discussing the upcoming UFC event at Madison Square Garden, starring Tom Aspinall and Sergey Pavlovich. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant Yuri Prochazka and Alex Pereira, of course, but as a Brit, that's my main event. We're going to round table our way through the main card from bottom to top. In a moment, I'll throw it open on Diego Lopez versus Pat Sabatini, and we'll see where it goes. But first, I have to say a few words to Lem. Cornish pasty, Danish pastry. Okay, time for the round table roll. Which one of you donks wants to go first?
I can go. And first off, I think this is a much better outlook on the main and co-main, in my opinion. Considering what we had with Stipe and John Jones, I didn't like it when we were told that this was going to be the main event at first with Poton and Jerry Prochaska.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, Alex Pereira literally just got one win in the division against a former champion. Granted, I'm thinking to myself, all right, you know what? I could see this fight. I could see it. I don't like it as the main event, but I think I could see it as being entertaining.
I'm thinking to myself that Austin has started from the wrong end of the card and wasn't listening to my intro.
You know what? You are correct. My apologies.
Diego
God
Lopez
damn
versus
it.
Pat Sabatini.
Yes.
That's quality. Keep that in there.
Oh God. Son of a bitch. Did I? Yes, I did. God damn it. I don't know what happened. I was literally looking at the card and I completely forgot. That's my apology. My bad. God damn it.
So, Diego Lopez, Pat Sabatini.
I don't know why I didn't like this fight to begin with. I'll be honest. Diego Lopez had an exciting fight in first fight, wins his second fight, and now he's fighting a hard-nosed featherweight again. Sabatini's been that guy that's been quiet, has been making a whole lot of noise, but everybody knows who he is. If you're a hardcore, hard-nosed wrestler is going to take you to the mat and just kind of wail on you until you kind of either get submitted or get finished. And more often than not, he's going to take you to a decision, which is a great counter for somebody like Diego Lopez, who has attacks off of his back and can give you a submission offense that's hard to deal with at pretty much all aspects of the fight. I don't know who to lean on with this one because I want to lean Sabatini, but I already know that Diego Lopez has more than enough offense to deal with him. I think I might still lean Sabatini, but this is a extremely close fight. I'll say that much.
Yeah, it's quite. I did look up the odds before before we started recording, and Diego Lopez, Pat Sabatini, it's 11-10. Sorry, these are in UK odds. 11-10 Diego Lopez and 10-11 on Pat Sabatini. So it's literally, it's pretty much even money either way. But I'm a casual on these two anyway. So Dave, anything?
Yeah, I actually don't know a whole lot about these guys.
That's good.
I'm leaning towards Diego Lopez just because, judging by their recent losses, Lopez lost to Mavsvar Evloev, undefeated kid. So that's not like that bad losing to him. And a Pat Sabatini just lost to that one guy that sucks. Damon Jackson.
Almira.
Right?
Oh no, that was his last. He won that one.
Yeah, he lost to Damon Jackson, I think.
Yeah, he did.
And so just by their strength of schedule and stuff, and I'm leaning towards Diego.
Yeah,
his hair is cool. He's got that Lego hair. Diego Lopez. So.
Yeah, he's not cool enough to have a wiki page though. I did try and look him up that way.
No, yeah. He's a coach. He's a coach, and this is his foray into being an elite MMA fighter. And he's done well. And Sabatini is like that guy. You're like, okay, well, he's another nosed wrestler who's been in the trenches and is, starting to get into it. But I mean, he's coming off of a loss to Damon Jackson, which I had forgotten about. So that's
We got
not
to win
ideal.
after that, I think.
Was it right after that?
I think he's got to win after that.
Okay, yeah. So that's the thing. Is like these guys, they're in the trenches right now of the division. Although, looking at that Mozart Evloev fight, you can argue that Lopez almost could have taken that fight. I wouldn't, but Dave said it best. His strength of schedule is much better.
So who does he coach? Like, is he like an MMA coach or some shit or what?
Yeah, so he's a jiu-jitsu coach. I forget the team, but if I can get up real quick, believe
Team
he
Lobo
started
Gym?
as
It's a coin flip.
He's young.
I'll probably see which way the Discord goes on this one, but
That's probably going to be your closest one, to be honest.
yeah. On the UFC's official fight, you got my Sabatini is a -120 favorite, +100 on Lopez, but that's not odds checker. So,
ESPN has him as a Lopez at +15 and -135 for Sabatini.
okay. So.
Oh, Grasso and Aldana fight out of that gym.
Who's Sabatini or Lopez?
No, Lopez.
Lopez.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
should be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the sleeper fight of the night, maybe.
Mm-hmm. No?
No. I don't know if it's a sleeper fight.
I think we're just about exhausted our.
Yeah, we did.
On that one, yeah. So next up, we got Matt Frivola versus Benoit Saint-Denis. You want to jump in, Dave?
Yeah, I think this will be a banger. I think both of them fight kind of wild, like to throw hands and stuff. I think Saint Denis might be kind of overrated, and he might kind of suck for a lightweight. It seems like even like his fights that he dominates in, he still gets rocked a lot. And I think he just had good matchmaking and hometown crowds and shit. And I think this is his first foray into a real UFC fight. I think he's going to get beat up. I think Matt's got sharper technique and more power.
He did beat one of the Bonfim brothers.
Yeah, I think they're not. It was either too much too soon, or they're just overwhelmed, or maybe they're overrated. Maybe too much too soon. UFC jitters.
Yeah.
The brother curse. If they don't fight on the same card, then they don't do well.
Don't win.
That's what I got for that one. Matt Fivola's been looking good though. He fucking hammered Drew Dober.
That's true.
He's a fun fighter. I never really thought about him as a top lightweight, but he's been putting in good work, and I'm definitely leaning towards him in this one. This will be a banger for sure.
I'm a bit more of a fan of Benoit Saint-Denis. He's a French fighter I actually like. We'll get on to Gan later, maybe. And also, Matt Frivola beat Drew Dober, who I was kind of I know for a fact I picked Drew for that fight. So there we go. I have a double reason to pick Benoit Saint-Denis, I think. But in all seriousness, I think Benoit Saint-Denis, he's got all the grit and willpower from his military training. I think the guy's ex-special forces or something. He doesn't have much quit in him. He's tough as old boots. He's got the height advantage, couple of inches reach advantage. So yeah, I think Benoit Saint-Denis got enough to get this one done. But I'll pass it over to Austin because he probably knows a hell of a lot more about these fighters than I do.
Well, I mean, first off, Matt the Steamroller Favola fighting at the Cerro Longo fight team. He's on a 3-fight win streak. And Gennaro Valdez, Ottoman Azaitar, one of the Azaitar brothers who is, hanging out with that Moroccan king, whatnot, but neither here nor there. And then has a win over Judober. All three of those were finishes, knockouts. Benoit Saint-Denis has looked extremely wild in his last couple of fights. And I'll grant, yeah, he hasn't, he hasn't looked terrible, but if I'm going to lean any direction in this fight, I'm going to lean the steamroller because he's got much crisper boxing. Stuck to the game plan, and I don't foresee Steamroller losing this one if he stays cool, calm, and collected like he has been, sticking to his his strengths and actually finishing fights as of late. So he's 33. If he's going to make a run,
sorry, just to interrupt you. Sandini is the favorite with the bookies.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the given because he's the more well-known fighter at this point, but that's not out of the realm. I think
It's still a close fight. It's 2-1 either way, pretty much.
Oh yeah. Saint Denis can win if he just gets past the boxing or just the striking of Frivola, which I find hard to believe, considering that Saint Denis is the kind of guy that kind of runs at you head first and then just forgets what he's doing. I mean, Saint Denis got a good win streak himself, but not nearly the same kind of control that I've seen Frivola as of late. I mean, yes, he did lose to Terrence McKinney in his last loss. Did Steamroller. It was a quick knockout. He bounced back pretty quickly after that. I'm thinking Steamroller for the knockout. I'm going to say for sure. Yes.
Yeah, well, that brings up one thing I would like to point about these two. Like, I think they're actually kind of similarly talented. With Matt Frivola maybe being a little bit more powerful and a little bit more sharper. But I think that Matt is way more defensively sound as a fighter, or he has been as late. And so I think that with even if they were like similarly skilled, I think with their kind of wild fighting style, the more defensively sound fighter will probably get it done. And I think he's way more defensively sound. That's something I'll be going back to tonight. So,
anything else to add on this one?
Not that I can think of.
Because we zipped through that fight in like 5 minutes flat. Okie dokie then. I guess we go on to the next one, which is the women's MMA bout, I believe. Yep, Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern.
Oh, jeez.
Don't know Russian.
I'll go on this one. I hate this one mainly because it's Jessica Andrade. What is it, on a 3-fight losing streak now?
Yeah, 3-fight losing streak.
And we're just feeding her to Mackenzie Dern, who is not a striker, but I guess it proves that you don't have to be a striker in order to beat Jessica Andrade, right? So
yeah,
if I'm thinking about this fight, I mean, the favorite should be Mackenzie Dern. However, I'm going to lean Jessica Andrade because I think she's going to come in with a little bit more of a more relaxed game plan, I'm hoping. Then again, I'm putting a lot of stock into this fighter that has kind of never really had game plans, has kind of just chucked them hands at people and hope that they go down.
Two of the last three losses are submission losses as well, if that hurts anything.
Yeah. I mean, she's only failed once at trying to knock somebody out, and I'm sorry, no. She's failed a few times trying to knock somebody out and has been knocked out in the process. In this case, I feel like if she tries to go after Mackenzie Dern and doesn't stop the takedown, there's going to be some real questions as to what the hell is going on with her fight camp, who's in her corner. I know that she had some personal problems where was it her fiance that would basically took her money or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think bad manager too.
Yeah, I just don't like this fight for Jessica Andrade, but at the same time, look, it's a big name, Mackenzie Dern, as far as the division is concerned. That's as good as you can get outside of the championship or top contendership. Mackenzie's not even coming off of a win streak. She has just one win over Angela Hill, And even then, it was like she just kind of steamrolled Angela Hill, and she had lost to Yan Jianan before that in a competitive fight. They're trying to give her an easy win. I think they think Andrade is on her way out, even though Andrade is not that old.
Old is she?
So
He's
let's
32.
see.
Yeah. Not old at all.
Well, Mackenzie Dern is 30, so it's like they're trying to cash in on Mackenzie Dern at the sacrifice of Andrade, which I think is a terrible concept to try to do. Like they're trying to give Dern another ranked opponent that's going to get her farther up the ladder and try to get her on another run to the title. And I think this is probably the worst matchup you could have asked for, because now Andrade is going to come in there and either upset the apple cart, or she's probably going to do something ridiculously, insane that we think, why did we match up these two to begin with? At least that's my look on the fight.
I don't know. I think it's a setup fight for Dern. You have to keep in mind this is Mythical Fighter Divorce Dern. And also,
I don't know about that.
You don't know about Divorce Dern Mythical Fighter?
Yeah, but like that only happened because like she had tried it. It was already happening with the Yan Jianan fight, and she only happened to get an opponent that couldn't stop a takedown.
Well, anyway, I think Andrade is on her way out, not because of her age, but because of all the other issues, and her head's not in the right space. I mean, like, she's just taking fight after fight and dropping L after L because she needed the money or something, and taking another fight so soon after her most recent loss. It seems that that's the case again.
How long ago did she fight? Do you know?
She fought
I think it was like a month and a half ago.
Really?
No, she fought August 5th.
August 6th.
Oh, okay. There we go.
I think she had a fight booked before then, but it was canceled.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she's had 3 fights this year.
Yeah, so I think she's kind of on her way out. I mean, she's just going for the paychecks and she's dropping losses, and she's not even really being that competitive. She doesn't bring the same threats that she used to anymore. Like, she used to bring like a terrifying power in her hands and like good defensive wrestling, and all that's gone. And I think Mackenzie Dern, I mean, she's looking really physical now and strong. She can be dangerous striking, even though her skills are not great. I think she's getting better at wrestling to like actually get the fight to the ground, and I expect a submission or like a dominant 30-26 for Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah, I could see it.
Surprisingly for women's MMA, they both got a fair few first-round finishes.
Yeah.
Well,
Andrade used to have that power.
I think she still does. She hasn't been able to do anything with it because she did the thing against Yan Jianan you're not supposed to do, is chase somebody with leaping hooks and then leave your chin open. Yan Jianan countered with a quick counter and put her lights out. It's the worst thing you could have done to an actual striker. And then she gets handled in the next 2 fights. Like, what are we doing? And it's because, again, she struggled in the grappling department. Like, she used to be a decent grappler. I remember her handling Claudia Gadejeda. Like, just manhandling her. Nah, that's not the case, I guess. But then again, it could be that thing where she's, like Dave said, she needs the money. She does not have a fight camp. She's just showing up. Maybe if she's just training at some random gym that's not asking her to pay a whole lot. She's obviously doesn't have the best, people in her corner to begin with. Otherwise, they would be telling her not to take this fight. There's a lot that's going into this, and I'm hoping for the Andrade that showed up against Rose Namajunas the first time. Horsepower and just straight up like
you're
not giving a shit.
You're an Andrade fan then?
No. I mean, I like the concept of what she used to do, but like Dave said, it hasn't been there.
Even the Andrade, the Andrade that showed up in the second Rose fight, like she lost at first, but like she showed improved head movement, and she was like swinging and
Yeah,
banging and putting it on Rose late in the fight. Like she still had some serious threats. So
yeah, that was the
wasn't
closest that you could get to like a perfect Andrade. Like she came in and actually tried, and she was showing off all the signs that you would want from a good fighter. You know, the head movement was a little exaggerated, but still, like she's going in, she's not overcommitting on strikes. She's landing hard. She's keeping pace, and she's staying in. She was staying in Rose's face, and then she made the move up to 125, and nobody could figure out if she was a strawweight or a flyweight. Then she loses the title after winning against uh God, what was her name? Uh, I forget, but she had beaten a contender and then gotten the title shot, got submitted right off the bat in that fight against Valentina, and then takes one more flyweight fight and then comes back
the
down to
Lemos
strawweight.
fight where she'd like got her in the standing submission. That one.
No. She had fought somebody at 150 to 125. Forget who it was at this moment, but she lands like a body shot and ends it. Then she fights Valentina for the title, and Valentina
Chikagian,
submits.
blonde fighter.
Thank
Caitlin
you. Yes.
Chikagian.
Yes. I don't know why I forgot her name, but yeah, there was she was jumping weight classes because she wanted just another fight, another title opportunity. Now it seems that may have just been the worst possible outcome because now she has
No, what, Austin?
no consistency.
Oh, it's okay. I thought we'd lost you there for a moment.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to edge towards Mackenzie Dern on this one. Those three, 2 losses by submission recently with Andrade, plus a lot of what you guys have said, money troubles, relationship troubles, weight on mind, all that stuff. So I think my pick will end up being Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah, I mean, Dern went through a divorce, but Andrade it felt like she was just being kind of hung out to dry, and the UFC is also adding to it. Like, there's a lot going against Andrade. That's why I'm kind of rooting for her at this point.
What are you picking her?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to. I said
you're
it here,
picking
so
Andrade.
therefore I must commit. I'm gonna have to commit.
Shall we then move on to the UK heavyweight? Main event. Sorry, Sergey Pavlovich, the number 2 heavyweight, versus Tom Aspinall, number 4 heavyweight.
I feel like you've been.
Again.
I mean, I feel like you've been waiting for this one, so why don't you take us into it?
This one's obviously I'm really, really looking forward to this one. Big fan of Tom Aspinall. I like his fighting. He seems like a genuinely nice guy. He moves so well in the cage. He moves like a welterweight pretty much. He's super fast. I heard something, I can't remember what show it was on, but his father was saying, or one of his coaches was saying, he out endurances some of the welterweights and he's faster than some of the welterweights. So he really is that new breed of heavyweight, and much of the Silver Gam mode. But Tom has absolutely fantastic jiu-jitsu, because his father was, I believe, the first black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the UK, and Tom's been training with him since he was 6 years old. I don't know much about Tom's wrestling experience, but I know at the moment he's got a gym packed with heavyweights, because it's probably the best heavyweight gym maybe in the world. I don't know where anyone else has got the number of heavyweights, the quality ones as well. I think a lot of Bellator fighters are in there. I presume Cage Warriors, that kind of stuff. So Tom, moves so well. Striking, I think it's probably, I don't know if it's his weakest one, because he looked so good in his last fight. He moved so well. It's hard to, he moved like Muhammad Ali kind of. It's that kind of ridiculous speed. And obviously he does have the wrestling to back things up. We've seen it. Volkov had him down, and was it a straight arm bar or something? He got him and
Yeah.
got him in, and tapped him in very little time. Also, Tom, fastest finishing fighter in the UFC. I heard something with him talking earlier on. Talking his first 5 fights lasted less than 15 minutes. That's pretty crazy.
It's a good stat.
Yeah, that's it. That's just absolutely crazy. I think I can't remember what his finishing time. I think it's just over 2 minutes or something. His average finish time for a fight, which is crazy. So yeah. Also, very very short notice for Tom. That's the kind of thing I wish hadn't happened. He only had 2.5 weeks notice, which is the same amount that Michael Bisping had for his Luke Rockhold fight. So I'll be hoping for a repeat of that performance. So yeah, and then Sergey Pavlovich, just obviously an absolute monster. Hands of death, as I've constantly said. I think he's 12-1. I think on his record, he's one loss coming against Overeem, which did involve a lot of grappling, which hopefully Tom might. Because jumping back to Tom again, I think I can see Tom maybe doing a little bit of dancing, but eventually just wanting to get in and take Pavlovich down. And I know Pavlovich can wrestle, but I think Tom's probably better on the ground than he is. But again, Pavlovich, absolute monster. I think he's got 6 KOs in his last fights or something stupid like that.
It's 6 KOs in the first round.
Yeah, thank you.
And he had he's like 6-1 in the UFC currently.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so Pavlovich, I think, has got the 3rd fastest fight time ever in the UFC. So another obviously absolute killer there. I'm kind of meandering a little bit now. So I'll just go out on my picks. Obviously, I'm going for Tom Aspinall on this one. I think he's got all the tools to do it. I know it's short notice, but I think Tom's very good at standing up to the big occasion. And he is actually favourite with the bookies, which kind of surprised me. He might just be getting a lot of UK support, but he is slightly edging out Pavlovich. Obviously, another super close fight. And it being heavyweight, it could go either way. You know, one slight mistake clipped by either of these guys, and you're looking at the stars, wondering where the hell you are. Let's be honest, either of them goes down, they're not going to get much chance to get back up.
No.
Either one of them is going to be laid on top of the other one, or they're getting their head pounded into the canvas. So yeah, really, really looking forward to it. Can't wait. Shame it's going to be starting at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning for me, but I will be. I have dodged a few cards recently, but I will be up. Well, I'll certainly be trying to stay up for this one because I don't want to have the results spoiled for me on social media.
Yeah.
And with that, I'll just let one of you guys jump in.
Austin.
Well, I led with the last one. Do you want this one?
Yeah, I'll go. I think this is an interesting fight. I think this is actually a good stylistic matchup for Tom. I know Sergey is 18-1, but I got this sneaking suspicion he kind of like really sucks, and he's not he's not good. But he's got fast hands, and he's got accurate hands, and he's got a chin.
He's also got an 84-inch reach, which Aspinall does not have, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
What's his reach?
Aspinall
78.
I was going to say he's a bit bit T-Rexy for a heavyweight.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, but all his KOs in the UFC have been against fighters that were not defensively sound at all, and they totally gave him the opportunity to take him out. And he swings wild, and he runs in with his chin up, just throwing strikes. And someone that's defensively sound that could avoid that, or a good counter, is going to catch him. And Tom's striking is actually pretty darn good. He's certainly more defensively sound than any fighter that I've seen Sergey fight recently.
I might have been cruel to Tom there. I don't know. I thought he kept his chin up a little bit, but thinking about it, he has been training with Fury recently, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean he jumps back really good when he's kind of hopping around his feet. He jumps back, or he he throws a jab and he like leans back out of range of the counter. It's really good. Like he just seems more defensively aware at all times than like Sergey's other opponents. Like they'll get crazy and wild and they'll like, not be defending at all. And Tom seems aware of those scenarios. So I think that's going to be a big problem for Sergey. Plus, I think Tom's wrestling is very good. If he gets in the clinch, I think like the body locks will work for him, and he'll probably be able to own Sergey on the ground. I think. They're just both so big. I think Tom will be able to wear him down, and I kind of think Tom will probably win this fight wherever he wants to. He might end up just taking it down just to be safe, but I think Tom could strike with Sergey, avoid his flurries, counter, be defensively smart. So I'm leaning Tom. The only way Sergey wins this, I think, is if he gets lucky and catches him and sleeps him, or if Tom injures his leg or some shit like that. That's how much I think the stylistic matchup favors Tom. Or if the moment gets to him,
sorry, just jumping. I don't think he seems to get to Tom very much at all. He seems to just love soaking it in. He really, really does.
So that's my thoughts.
All right. So here's my thing. We all know who the well-rounded fighter is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, my whole thing is, can he get out of the first round? Right?
Neither of them are renowned for getting out the first round, one way or the other.
Yeah.
I guess.
If I'm going to put money on it, I think Tom can get out of the. But at the same time, I'm thinking Tom's coming in short notice. The only thing that scares me about this fight is if Tom is coming in short notice.
Here's the thing, though. This fight has been booked before. I think he's trained for Sergey a bit in the past. Short notice sucks, but I think he has trained a little bit for him.
Yeah, but that's not my thing. My thing is is he gonna think, okay, if I can't take him down, are my hands and my defense good enough to stay in the first round? In which case, I would say yes, but on a full camp. Is he gonna dive in almost like how Almeida was committed to doing for the Derek Lewis fight?
No way, not at all.
I was going to joke.
Okay,
we're not going to see an Almeida 5 rounds of laying on top of someone. Do not bet on this round, this fight going 5 rounds.
Tom can box, man.
I know. My whole thing is that if he's, because the issue is we see that he hasn't been tested on the ground since his debut against Overing, and that was a Pavlovich that was A, sick, B, injured, and C, it was his debut fight in an area that he probably wasn't ready for physically. It was in China, I believe, at the time. And it was a late night card. Pretty much hadn't adjusted to the timing. I'm imagining. I think there was a lot going against him at that moment. So the only guy who I can honestly think of that could have tested his grappling would have been Blades. And Blades decided to stand with him. And the one time he did try to test him, he went for a body lock instead of a double leg takedown or a single leg or an inside trip. Nothing. And it was stuffed immediately. That body lock, the takedown attempt. I fear Tom committing to something that's not going to get him anything, and in fact is going to be the detriment to his fight. At least I hope not. I'm trying to be optimistic and pick Tom, but there's a lot riding against him on this.
Yeah, the heavyweight fights are always a coin flip. Realistically, it can always go. Let's say one punch, end of fight, and that could come from either of them. They've both got knockout power. There's no doubt about that.
No, agreed. I don't know. I'm fearful of what happens if Tom's game plan doesn't work, considering it's a short notice.
Yeah, but as Dave said, he has prepared for him twice before, so he should know some. They've had plenty of film on him, I presume. got some idea of what he does in a fight.
Well, I mean, he stuffs the takedown attempt and then throws his hands, and he's actually not afraid of getting hit either. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, that could work in Tom's favor. Depends how tested.
Well, it's the opposite of what Blades was looking at. Like Blades hit him.
Yeah,
he just couldn't get hit back. Whereas I feel like his Tom has a better chin. I will again. Short notice changes how you want to look at this fight, because if it's a full camp, 100% Aspinall. Yeah, like not even a question. But he's coming off of a very good win against who was it, the Polish kid, Marcin Tybura.
Yeah,
correct.
He did.
Yeah. So he looked good. He looked good.
He looked superb in that fight.
There's just a lot right on this for Tom, and I hope that he has the ability to show up, and I believe he can. I just don't want him to get overzealous, because this is an interim title fight.
Yeah. Well, interesting enough, I was thinking about it earlier. Let's say that, as far as I'm concerned, worst thing happens, Sergey wins. I think Tom would only have to wait maybe 3 more opponents, and then he'd have another crack at the title. Because that would, I mean, let's say Pavlovich equals Stipe's record and defends the belt 3 times. That just gives enough time for Tom to come back, and I think that would give me a full camp, and I think Tom is a sure thing that he will be heavyweight champion one day, if not this Saturday, which I hope it happens, but one day it's going to happen. Tom will wrap that belt around his waist. I don't think there's any doubt in that. I don't think there's very many people in the heavyweight division who can beat him, or would beat him. I don't think Cyril Gane would beat Tom Aspinall. I don't think our friend from the weekend, Jailton Almeida, would stand much chance against him. And he's already beaten most of the others. So, yeah.
The only one I think is if it's a stand-up fight, Gane possibly. And even then, Gane showed limited offense in his last fight.
Yeah, I don't think Tom would give him much chance, to be honest. I think he'd do the same thing as John Jones did to him, or very similar. I don't think he'd mess about. I could be wrong. He might try to stand and bang a little while and do the man dance, as my favourite fighter always says.
That's another thing. I don't mean to take us off topic, but like, why wouldn't they look to Gane in this aspect if we were looking for an alternative opponent? Is it because Gane didn't want to take the fight short notice, or is it because they didn't think Gane was the guy?
I kind of half wonder if it's from stuff I've said before, where I said that because Gane came out and said he didn't really want to fight either of these guys. He didn't think, he was number 1 contender. He didn't want to fight him. And I kind of think Dana's heard that and gone, right, screw you then. Or maybe they rang Gane up at 5 o'clock in the morning like they did Tom, and he said, no, I can't do the fight. But I get the feeling it was offered to Tom because it's the better fight. Probably more viewers for Tom Aspinall than you get for Gane, as a rough guess. I could be wrong on that, because I guess France is pretty into MMA at the moment. But yeah, Gane kind of deserves what he's got, which is number 1 contender spot, but no interim title attempt.
Who do you even give him at that point? Like, because that's my other question, is that Stipe's not going to fight anybody besides John. And I think that's the stupidest thing. He could have had an opportunity at the title against a heavyweight that he arguably all he had to do was wrestle.
Gane.
If he got out of the first round. Do the same thing he did to Ngannou when he first met him. You could do it. Tough boy.
Gane wasn't on the table, though, was he? The replacement for this fight was Sergey Pavlovich.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Stipe could have done the same thing he did to Ngannou to Pavlovich, because we've only seen him on the ground against one specific fight. And even then, if we're looking at the fight, he's doing the same thing Ngannou had been doing. He's just finishing people relatively quickly and not giving us a whole lot of like other avenues of his game to see, right? And the only time that we did was against Overeem, and that was a questionable win for not Overeem specifically, but just there was a lot of aspects in there that were going against Pavlovich, and arguably if Pavlovich showed up in a different aspect of that fight, I think, maybe healthy, he probably finishes Overeem at some point during that bout. But again, that's not the fight we got. This is the thing that we're looking at now. Stipe could have won and arguably retired as a heavyweight champion. Didn't even probably need to defend it, but just showed that he can do it. Now he's been out over 2 years because he only wanted to fight one man, and that one man only wanted to fight because Ngannou wasn't champion or around.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah, so it's stupid. It's a clusterfuck. Now John is out and wanted to retire after he beat Stipe to begin with, and both of these guys were looking to retire after this fight, anyways.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think Stipe is like I said, Stipe is the same as John. He just wants a legacy fight, lots of money.
I hate that. Not the fact that they want to get paid. I hate the fact that like John literally. Okay, so here's my biggest gripe about this. John could have been doing what Almeida is doing currently. He proved that Almeida is proving what John could have done. Show up as a light heavyweight who's not cutting weight and still beat bigger men handily because he's the better athlete. He's the better fighter. He was the reigning defending light heavyweight champion pretty much throughout his entire career, even when there were other champions or other, fighters who had the belt, essentially. I mean, look at light heavyweight now. I mean, we're talking about it in a different aspect with the jury and, Alex Pereira. But still, John could have just literally moved up to heavyweight if he wanted to. But he's also playing the whole, I don't need the money. Actually, he kind of does. He was negotiating with the UFC on his pay. Dana White famously said, "I want that." He says he wants that Deontay Wilder money, which was funny because Deontay Wilder wasn't even the number one heavyweight in the world at the time. Tyson Fury was. And Anthony Joshua was. Right? It's funny because it's like Dana White always said that John was like the greatest fighter in the UFC or the greatest fighter, period.
Yep.
And yeah, he complained when he wanted Deontay Wilder money. Like, okay, yeah, because the greatest fighter in the world doesn't deserve that. I don't know.
He's not the greatest in pay-per-view numbers, John. I was looking the other day. I think it's around about 700,000 is his record numbers. Not a small amount, but no $1 million pay-per-views for Bones. No,
but still, like the UFC made $380 million after taxes, and they're looking to possibly, with the Endeavor purchase of WWE, and now both of their companies, the UFC and WWE, becoming TKO, possibly earning $1 billion after taxes, or close to $500 million after taxes. Sorry, and fees. Like they have the money to afford everything to pay these guys to actually want to fight. They just choose not to because their investors will be upset by their earnings. Yeah. Plus, it's also the UFC's playbook to not pay fighters because it benefits them if they're all starving.
I don't think there's many of the top-ranked guys who are starving exactly. They might not be getting paid what they should be. But
that's yeah. Fair market value would be the thing.
Yeah, I didn't see the whole video, but I started watching the one with Nathan Wood, and he was talking about he fights for 60. So, and he can fight 3 times a year. So, that's potentially $360,000 a year. You're not going to earn that as a plumber. So, yeah.
That's before taxes and gym fees.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
Before taxes and gym fees.
Yeah, but presumably trains in the UK. I don't think our prices are quite as high as US prices. I'd guess anyway.
No, you still have to go in if you fight in a foreign country. Like the guys who were coming from the US, or even like Canada, like from Canada, like Hakeem Dawodu when he went over to Australia and came back, and it was, or I'm sorry, not Hakeem Dawodu, it was Mark D. No, Mark.
Diakese?
No, the other one. He's a Canadian kickboxer. I forget the name, but the fighter basically said that he had like less, than half of his money taken, or more like left of his after taxes. He had like less than half, like after gym fees and everything that he could walk away with.
Yeah, that would
And
make
it's
Yeah,
like,
if you're not like a citizen, like some places charge like almost 50% in taxes.
yeah. And then even then, it's like you still have like your rent to pay. You have car bills. If you have kids,
If you fly
like
out
there's
other
a
teammates besides the two that the
yeah.
UFC covers,
well, that's your choice, though. No one's forcing you
yeah,
to do that.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but still, like they can afford to pay these guys after the fact. No, but
Record
what are you
profits.
gonna do? Yeah, no, the profits. God forbid this
Oh, well,
guy
how
can't
are we
afford
going to
another
do record
yacht.
profits if we just start giving money away? Like, come on, Austin.
I know. God, you know what? You're right. You're right, Dave. The yachts come first.
Record breaking numbers are good for everyone. It's trickle down economics. Like, you don't understand.
It's not
Yes.
yachts. It's not yachts anymore, Austin. It's bulls. That's Dana's
That's
latest
fair.
fashion, isn't it?
I mean, it's to be fair, riding bulls or buying bulls or even just watching bulls is entertaining enough. I mean, man's got to have a hobby. Power Slap is not doing it anymore.
Well, let's not get into bullfighting. Like, there ain't nothing good about that shit.
Bullfighting, definitely not. No.
No.
Are we ready to run on to the proper main event then? The light heavyweight.
Yeah, I think we've read out of subjects to talk about the
The
co-main.
casuals main event, we'll call it.
Oh my god.
You can for me, Dave.
Yeah.
So yeah, Yuri Prohaska versus Alex Pereira. I'm seeing Alex as the slight favourite, but again, it's a razor close decision.
Yeah.
Oh, go on, Dave. Please jump in.
Well, I actually like Alex in this fight a lot. Looking at his record, it's pretty crazy that he's only 8-2, and he's fighting for his second title now.
Yeah, that's
Like
pretty
this
bad.
kind of goes with the match in the co-main. Like I think this is kind of a setup match for Alex almost. Like Yuri is dangerous.
No.
Yuri is dangerous as shit, but he is like the least defensively sound light heavyweight that I've ever seen. Like he just puts his chin out there, he puts his hands down, and he'll throw strikes from weird angles. And he has like crazy range that he gets out of his unusual strikes and stuff. But he leaves himself open to get countered a lot. I mean, Glover was smashing on him. Like old man Glover was smashing on him in the stand up on occasion. Like and Dominic Reyes was smashing on him a bit in the stand up. Like he's got a hell of a chin, but he gets rocked a lot. And Alex is a defensively sound, really good kickboxer. And
Yeah.
I mean, unless Yuri catches almost some wild shit, I mean, the counters are there. He can get countered by a good orthodox fighter. Alex has got a hell of a left hook. Like, I don't know, man. If Alex still has that power, like, I think it's gonna be curtains for Yuri. TKO. KO.
He's just moved up a weight category, so yeah. Hopefully he's
Well,
Yeah,
he
like
did
I'm
cut.
really interested in seeing like their stare downs. Like I really want to see what their size looks like when they're standing next to each other.
I
Because
think they're going to be relatively close. Like, I mean, what
yeah,
was
I
the
wonder
rumor?
like well, it's weird. I
He
actually looked at Alex was listed as 6.3 or 6'3" now. Like he shrunk an inch according to the UFC records. But
wasn't he like 6'4", 6'5"?
yeah,
Yeah, dude's massive. Plus, he was cutting. If I remember correctly, he cut 40 pounds to make middleweight.
yeah. So I'm just really anxious to see like Yuri is a natural light heavyweight. He's been that weight class for a long time.
I forget who it was. Was it you? Was it you that said it? That Jamal Hill cuts like from 240 to make light heavyweight?
No, that was not me.
I forget. I forget who it was. I think that was. I thought that was an astronomical number, but like the fact that Yuri isn't the most careful of strikers, because for me, I feel like this is an incentive fight. I think they're just like, all right, well, who's the most entertaining fighters that we have available right now
Well,
that
yeah,
could fight for the title?
I don't necessarily think that like the UFC is setting up Alex for a win. I just think that
Oh, you think it's a perfect fight for him?
yeah, just the way the styles play out, the way they match up.
Yeah, I can see
think,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean that. Like, no, I don't think the UFC thinks it's like that. Like,
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think that might just work out better for them too, because everyone likes Alex Pereira.
Yeah,
Potan
he has become very
he's a-
popular, hasn't he?
yeah,
he's a fan favorite, I think. Other than Jury, at least at this division.
yeah, and it's crazy. Like, this might be one of the most wild title fights that I've seen as far as like characters. Like Yuri and Alex are both like kind of crazy MMA characters that are like very unusual and very unique.
Yeah,
And we
Samurai
got two of them.
Brazilian Hunter. Yeah.
It's very interesting to me.
Well,
Like
because
I'm rooting for Alex. I think Alex is going to win. I like the style matchup. But I mean Yuri brings that power and he's very unorthodox. But once again, defensively sound. It's going to be not defensively sound.
You think there's much of a chance of Jury trying to take it to the ground? Test Alex
No.
grappling? No? Going to be a stand.
Maybe.
No,
yeah, I think there is a chance that he might try.
not a strong chance. It's more like a happenstance, like what he did to Glover. Like, oh, he's on the ground. I should probably try something.
I was just curious.
Didn't believe it. He didn't believe in jiu-jitsu before that, and then he decides, you know what? This looks like a perfect opportunity to try a rear naked choke.
Jiu-jitsu doesn't
Poor
work.
Glover.
Jiu-jitsu doesn't work if you don't believe in it, does it?
No. I mean, Jerry proved it, just like Derek Lewis did.
Yeah, that almost never works out, but
well, my whole thing is that if Alex Pereira shows up like he did in the first like Adesanya fight, trying to kickbox a man who's unorthodox, I think he may lose. Like he's got to keep his composure, but just play the safe game. I think if he does what he did against Jan, just he's pawing from the outside, but he's not super committed to finishing it.
yeah,
I don't think you need to rush in on this guy. He's very beatable. He's very beatable, but it's also light heavyweight. He's the more decorated striker by far in this division. Like that's not even a question. Like, and the only reason why he's got a better chance than Izzy did is because Izzy just didn't. He didn't prepare for a light heavyweight fight.
I think Izzy weighed in at like 195 or something.
Yeah. We already know Potan's going to weigh in at almost like on fight day, probably 225.
Yeah.
He's not a small man.
No. But the reason he wanted this fight was because it was so bloody hard cut into middleweight now. The last two fights, I think it really hurt, really struggled. So he can now eat what he wants, I guess, and have to trim very little, probably half the weight that he used to have to trim, almost.
Yeah, I wonder if New York releases numbers, like if they'll release like weigh-in day numbers or anything like that.
It's not fighter pay, so they'll release full weight. And I think them in California, and I think one more state does the weight.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out on this fight that kind of interests me is like lately, Jerry's been using a lot of forward pressure in his nonsense, like his hands down, crazy style. Like he'll just kind of plod forward fast, and I'm not sure if anyone's tried that with Alex and how he'll react if someone like brings that kind of pressure. Like,
Sean.
Yeah, for pressure.
That's a different style of pressure than what
not hands down, obviously, with Sean.
I mean, I'm assuming it's the same because Alex is pretty accurate with strikes. He doesn't really waste time when he throws. He may hesitate when he's, in combination, but when he throws, he's committed to the strike. Jury won't be able to react well if he's on his ass. the minute he decides to walk into a combination, he's going down or gets hurt against the fence. He's not going to be able to kind of, I'm going to throw a spinning crazy thing. The only reason why Alex got knocked out the first time or the second time against Adesanya, because he kind of overcommitted and then left himself open. He doesn't usually do that. He's usually the kind of guy that's going to keep his composure. Even if he gets hurt, he's going to find a way to get out of it. And usually, to his benefit, he's going to just allow you to kind of throw your hands at him and possibly give himself an opening to kind of recover. And then even then, he can counter you because he has goddamn hands of stone. But I don't know. I'm gonna lean Alex on this one just because I find too many holes in Jury's game. Even if he does win.
His beard is stupid now too.
Well, his hair was always stupid if you ask
Yeah,
Lem.
but did you see what he did with his beard? It's all like angular now and shit. It's like,
Well, yeah, dude's got to stay quirky.
Yeah.
let him have his hair. It's fine. Fine. It's fine. Fine.
it's not.
It's not gonna help him. It's not gonna help him.
Hey, if Malik can paint his hair in clown colours, Jury can have his stupid beard and top knot, I guess.
Oh, that's why he grew it out, like the sides. There's more hair on the sides now, so it'll absorb more impact.
That's it's MMA 101.
Yeah,
If you have a
kinda
beard,
smart.
it creates it's additional protection.
put that
Samurai mentality.
cushion on your chin. Yeah, I think I'm going with Alex on this one as well. That left hand, and also I've come around. I quite like Alex. I think largely because of the entire Strickland affair, and not the fact that he knocked him out, not the fact that he knocks him out, but the fact that him and Glover invited Sean down to their gym and trained, and obviously Sean got something out of it. I think that probably contributed to Sean's win against Izzy. So yeah, quite a big fan of Alex at the moment. Plus, obviously, he's had Glover training him, and Glover just fought Yuri, so he must have a fair amount of insight on what the guy's like in the cage. So that's inside information, always useful. So yeah, hopefully Alex Pereira. I know it's another close fight, could go either way, but yeah, my pick will be Alex. You went for Alex? I think we've all three gone for Alex, haven't we? In fact, I don't think.
Yeah, I think we're.
In fact, I don't think we've disagreed. Maybe have we disagreed on any fights?
Yeah, I think
picked Jessica.
Sergey Pavlovich.
Have you just?
No, I
changed
did it. I picked Aspinall.
I
said Aspinall.
Oh, you picked okay.
Yeah, we all picked on that.
Yeah, I said I'm hoping for him. I'm choosing him, but I'm also thinking. I'm also thinking that I think that there's a lot going against Tom, but I'm going to pick him.
Yeah.
Well,
that was what I was saying.
Yeah, we all went for Dern, didn't? Oh no, you went for Andrade, didn't? Did you go for Andrade?
Yeah, that was the only one. Yeah, I think I was separate on.
Yeah. Oh no, we disagreed on Benoit Saint-Denis and Matt Frivola as well, didn't we?
Did we? I thought I picked Matt Frivola.
I went for Saint-Denis, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
This is why we need a. What do you call it? Like in court? Yes.
a minute's taker.
Yes.
So I guess we're pretty much done with the actual main event. Anything from the prelims or early prelims anyone wants to talk about?
I think Tabitha Ricci versus Lupita Godinez is a kind of a sneaky fun fight. I like Tabitha Ricci. I don't think either of them are very good, but they do both have a fairly modern, somewhat complete MMA game, so I think that'll be a fun scrap. Roosevelt Roberts is coming back against this Mateus Rebecca guy that looks like a killer. Roosevelt Roberts was from the Contender Series. It was fun, and then he was on the most recent Tough. And I think they're bringing him in to lose to this guy, but he's sneaky talented for what his record suggests. And then on the early prelims, Jared Gordon is fighting Mark Madsen. This Mark Madsen guy, he's an old Olympic wrestler, I guess. He did pretty good in the Olympics. He's only got one loss. He lost his last fight to Grant Dawson, but like a lot of people just hate him. He must like do boring, grindy wrestling wins or some shit like that.
Yeah, pretty much. I think he just is a lay and pray kind of guy almost.
Yeah, so those earlier two fights I think are like good, fun, sneaky bangers, and then I was just curious about Mark Madsen. Hopefully, Jared Gordon gets to win. I don't like those grindy wrestler types if I'm not going to throw any punches or anything. That's all I got from the card.
Just look down and see Jamal Lemmers on there. Didn't he fight Pat Sabatini or Diego Lopez? One or the other. I'm sure I was looking back.
Slava Claus is fighting. Yavislav Borishev.
Who is he?
He's I think he's a Russian kickboxer.
Slava Claus? What's his real name?
Yavislav Borishev.
Does he deliver presents?
He's a nasty striker, but not a very good grappler.
Oh, he's 7'3", 5'9".
Mm-hmm.
Slava Claus.
That's what I believe the nickname was.
He kind of looks like TJ Dillashaw with chest hair.
If TJ Dillashaw had a beard.
I think he does, and he's bald now too.
That's dumb. That's so dumb. But no, that's a fight that's worth watching just because, either Slava Claus is going to come and deliver a knockout, or he's going to get, in a brawl, which is always fun to watch. Tabitha Ricci, she's actually from the Santa Cruz area, if I'm not mistaken. And
she's from United States?
Yeah, well, she's training in Santa Cruz, and I think she's currently being sponsored by 805, a local brew company.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's cool. I like that. And then let's see. I don't think Dennis Bazooka was the only one. That's the one that Danger was talking about because Jamal Emmers is there. I mean, Dennis Bazooka comes out of the same camp as Matt Frivola, so I kind of have a soft spot for those guys. Long Island represent and whatnot. But
yeah,
anytime I can hear Matt Serra's voice or that whole Long Island New Yorker accent being shouted out at the top of the lungs, like nothing like fucking Ray Longo talking to Chris Weidman when he fought Anderson Silva, say, punch a hole through his fucking chest. Don't get careless out there.
So you really like that accent, huh?
It's it's the reason why I love talking to RC. But he's from Boston, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So shout out to RC, that guy. It's been a minute since I've seen that dude around. Oh, also Uber is a Giants fan. The Raiders beat the Giants. I'm sorry, Uber.
What about you? You got anything from the card, Dangermouse?
I haven't taken a great look at it, to be honest. I was mainly concentrating on the main card and getting this show together. So, but yeah, Tabitha Ricci versus Luffy Godinez. I quite enjoyed Luffy Godinez's last fight. What was it against now? Elise Reed, wasn't it? Is it Elise? I seem to remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
Elise Reed's a scrapper. A ginger scrapper. She's a ginger scrapper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I do seem to remember enjoying that fight. So, yeah, I guess that could be fun. And honestly, I don't know much about most of the others without doing some research. As you said, Slava Claus, that name rings a bell. Although he's not the favourite in the fight he's in.
No.
Azim Sadikov is. And if Roosevelt Roberts was on the Contender Series, I almost certainly saw him. But I don't remember much about him.
He was on the most recent Ultimate Fighter season.
Oh, right.
He was a lightweight that they brought back. Like, he was one of the former UFC fighters who was on that.
Yeah, because he had also been in the UFC off of the Contender Series.
Yeah.
Came back in, Came in, had a couple good wins, and then got knocked out and submitted a couple of times recently on his way out.
Yeah, he's fun.
He was good.
Yeah,
he's a good fighter.
He's good and bad. He's almost like a new Michael Johnson.
No, don't say that.
I'll say what I want.
No, he's 12-4. He's not even close to that. Let it be. We need him to get to at least 20. Give him a break.
There's a lot worse paths to be on than the path to Michael Johnson, Austin.
I mean, you could say this, and yet, Michael Johnson is literally a 500 fighter.
Yeah, but he's like 1-500 is the best lightweight in all the time. The other
he does hold a win over. I mean, he does hold a win over Tony Ferguson and Dustin Poirier.
Prime Dustin Poirier, prime Tony Ferguson.
all their primes. Yeah,
and when he fought Khabib, he knocked him out for a fraction of a second on his feet. His cameras weren't fast enough. You need like 120 frames per second camera to pick it up because it was like a flash knockout. And he stumbled and he fell down, if I remember right. And then he
didn't. No,
he got the submission.
He charged forward. And he actually kept beating the shit out of Michael Johnson afterwards, as if he stole something from him. And then he kept telling him to give up because he was tired of actually hurting him so often that he ended up actually just grabbing his shoulder. No, he was telling him to give up
because he was rocked so hard from that punch he didn't want anymore. He's like, just give up.
Yeah, that's why he kept beating him into submission, and then he ended up actually just working his shoulder. He literally was willing to take his shoulder. No, that's not
like a man.
Not how it happened.
Like a man, Khabib. What are you?
He's a champion.
Was a champion.
Undefeated champion.
Was an undefeated champion.
Yeah. I would retire undefeated too.
Yeah, when the going got tough.
That makes him the lineal lightweight champion, doesn't it?
Actually, Justin Gaethje is the lineal lightweight champion. Because those leg kicks that almost finished him, like Khabib's like, I don't want any more of this sport.
Okay, Brian Campbell. Okay.
Like he said enough
BC
sport after that.
Here. Oh my God.
Is it not true? Like, did he not walk away from the sport after that? Is that BC
over there, Dangermouse? I can't quite tell.
It doesn't sound like his accent, but he's talking the same shit.
I'm just saying.
I do think Khabib's legs were obviously bloody hurting from Gaethje blasting him with those kicks. I'm sure he didn't want to take.
Gaethje landed some solid punches too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, he walked through those punches. He walked through the strikes, and then he
also said Justin Gaethje was the hardest hitter that he ever fought.
Yeah, because Justin Gaethje is a madman, and Khabib is like nearly unkillable. Like that man, if you put him in a cage with the bear, he probably beats the bear.
Yeah. Well, a trained small brown bear, maybe.
I mean, it was a child then, so yes. His dad wasn't a complete madman. Come on now.
That wasn't like a real bear.
It was a bear. It was a real bear.
A real bear, yeah.
But it wasn't like a real bear.
It was a bear. I don't understand what we're arguing about. It's a bear.
Yeah.
Did it have claws?
Yes.
You sure?
It had a muzzle. That's the only difference, is that it was an actual bear with a muzzle.
Yeah, it was one of those wrestling bears from the shows that they used to do.
Yeah, they still do that. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's Russia. That's what they do. It's bears and people and Dagestanis, possibly Mongolian.
Yeah, try that shit with the grizzly bear.
I mean,
no, I think that's a past one for that one. Unless you like your lungs on the outside of your body.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I am not a salmon.
Yeah.
Those big boys don't play around. They just eat you while you're alive.
You ever seen the Grizzly Man documentary?
No. I did. I remember it. Yeah, it was terrible. Both of them in the tent at the same time. I just remember seeing the frying pan as he's trying to hit it. Oh my God. It was terrible to watch. I don't remember why I watched it either.
I think it's someone being eaten in a tent by a bear.
Yeah, yes, he lived among the grizzlies, and they turned on him.
Oh dear.
Well, one did specifically.
Yeah, he's probably talking shit.
Stupid bears.
Yeah.
I don't even know how we got here.
They just wanted a picnic. So
I'll be honest.
Yeah, I don't quite know how we got here. Is there anything else anyone wants to say? Anything about, I don't know, anything that's come up since we last talked, which was, what, 2 nights ago?
Talia Santos was released. That seemed kind of unusual. I think she's coming off of one loss, and she was competitive against Shevchenko, and then she lost to Blanchfield.
Oh yeah,
I thought she actually won
too.
that fight. She lost by Wallenstall, and UFC released her.
Yeah.
No, you know what it is? I think it's the contract dispute where she probably wanted more to re-sign, and they weren't willing to give her more.
Yeah.
That'd be the only reason why you would let a contender go like that.
And you're wrong. Blanchfield clearly won that fight.
Wallenstall should not win fights. I thought we determined that in the Holly Holm versus Caitlin Vieira fight.
I'm sorry, Blanchfield's better than Holly Holm, and obviously it doesn't work because otherwise Blanchfield.
Exact same method.
No, Buena Silva proved it doesn't work if you're Holly Holm anymore.
That brings
Aaron
up my
Blanchfield
second
did
news.
more. Oh my god.
Buena Silva was removed from the UFC roster today, or the rankings today. No, some people are saying that's just because of the failed test and they had to remove her from the rankings. But wouldn't they have already done that? Because she's been suspended for a while now. And then today she made a video saying something about a second suspension or something. Do you guys know anything about that?
Well, no. So hold on. First off. When is the fight booked with Raquel Pennington for the bantamweight title?
It is booked for 297.
297?
On January 20th.
Okay. So they're basically doing this now so she can serve her suspension, and then come January, when they no longer are with USADA, she's pretty much A-okayed by whatever system they're going to use. That's my thinking on it.
Yeah, it's interesting. She just released a video saying something about a second failed test or something, but
for what?
No, I think something might have been lost in translation. I think they just removed her from the rankings because of media reasons, and then she released a video addressing it, but something was probably lost in translation.
I would hope so, because that means that she either had something that she was actually supposed to be tested for and failed it, or B, she just realized that, I actually have to serve a suspension still. So I guess I have to be off the rankings.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense. I did want to ask you guys, is this a better co and main than what we had before with the John Jones fight being removed, with Stipe not being on the card?
It's definitely a better, I guess, co-main now. What would have been the main, Tom versus Pam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we foresee
about Jones fighting Stipe?
Well, that's going to be my other thing, is that do we foresee the Henan Barao situation?
For who?
The winner of this interim fight.
No. What do you mean?
Henan Barao became the interim champion because Dominic Cruz wasn't available to become the champion or defend his title against Barao, or even come back after the injury. That was the whole cadaver situation.
Oh, you mean, does one of these eventually become the real champion rather than the interim?
Yeah, my point being is that neither Stipe nor John are going to want to fight anybody else, and I think that's fucking stupid. I think that's stupid. John could have already been a champion and defended the title 3 or 4 times, honestly, if he wanted to. Whereas Stipe has already defended the title so many times, he's already set the record for 3 heavyweight title defenses, right?
Yeah.
He already reclaimed the title after he lost to Daniel Cormier, and then defended it against him again. If he lost to Ngannou and Ngannou left the division, and Stipe never fought anybody else. If Stipe had a win at any point in this whole time waiting out, now he's probably not going to even fight the rest of the year, and probably that's my whole thinking, is that he should probably get a fight with Gon and then just retire. Just retire. Beat Gon. Gon is a winnable fight for him.
He wants legacy fights.
if he can't get the legacy fight, what is the point?
Well,
Then he won't fight. Then he won't fight.
Just retire. He doesn't. I don't think he particularly needs the money. He just wants.
Yeah.
Okay, so then he should just retire.
He wants. I guess he wants to fight with Jones. It's a chance to take down another legend. If he beats him, I don't think
that fight would be for the title. That's what Dana is implying, is that when they come back and John does come back, this interim title means nothing then, apparently.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I dare
That's
say
stupid.
whoever wins the interim will get to fight whoever wins Jones versus Stipe, which of course won't be either of them because both of them will retire afterwards. So then I guess whoever is the interim champ will have to fight somebody else. Maybe Cyril Gane will finally get his shot.
I hope that John does come back before Stipe retires, just so I can see both of them lose to both of these guys. That would be my dream scenario. So that way, the lineal heavyweight championship at least has a chance of continuing with Ngannou comes back to MMA, and then somehow we get some kind of like dumb fight or whatever that unifies the titles, or there's some stupid shit with the PFL and the UFC once the UFC never his first season, but that's neither here nor there.
The PFL are going to cross promo for your title.
Yeah. If that ever happens,
I can't see Francis,
but that's probably
I can't see Francis ever coming back to the UFC.
Nah.
Not after he was successful with Fury, especially.
Yeah, that's true. He's like, no, I'm good.
I know, just a bit too much salt in Dana's wound from that one, I think.
Oh, that does bring up one point that I want to mention. Yuri did say that he's getting championship pay and pay-per-view points for this fight, and that Jamal Hill is getting the same thing when he comes back. I think that was contested before, whether or not he'd get champ and pay-per-view points, and he confirmed that he is.
Yeah, that's fair enough. He gave up the belt voluntarily, didn't he? So
yeah,
he should come back. And he's fighting for the belt again. Yeah, give him his pay-per-view points. That's pretty fair. I
would hope so. I mean, otherwise, what the hell are we doing here?
Well, I think we argued that before.
Yeah.
That's all.
Also, it's interesting. Well, I was gonna say it's interesting that Jury only has 4 fights his UFC career, including this.
This is his 4th fight, right?
I believe it is.
He doesn't have 4 fights. This is his 4th fight, I think, right?
Yeah, he went 2-0 into the title fight with Glover, won the title, wasn't able to defend it, and now is getting another chance to fight for the title.
4th fight.
Pretty crazy.
And it's he has the pay-per-view points. Lineal light heavyweight champion currently.
We have 2 super short UFC careers there, then, don't we? Really, Alex hasn't got very many fights. Jury's got virtually no fights.
I mean, one of them actually has a MMA career, though. So
yeah,
because even Alex had to get 3 wins to get to the title, and then lost it, or actually won. So that was a 4-fight win streak, and then lost it to Israel right after that, and then now picks up another win against a former champion, Jan Blachowicz, and if he beats another former champion, he would have already beaten 3 champions inside the UFC. It is, I want to say, what is 5th or 6th fight in the promotion. Yeah, but it's also light heavyweight because it's ridiculous. I mean, light heavyweight is shallow, and it's either
it's not the best.
It's
at the minute.
Yeah. Middleweight is deeper. That says a lot.
Middleweight's for looking fun at the moment.
That's true. Well, it's just because you're a fan of Sean.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I still want to see him versus Bobby Knuckles, but that's neither here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be fun. That's one for the draft show. See if you can get, see if you can get that on.
Damn it! I showed my hand.
There might be a fight over one or both of those fighters. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to arrange that.
We shall see.
Any other news?
Nope, not for me.
No.
Oh, trial date for the lawsuit, I think, has been set
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't care.
No, I haven't paid any
Yeah.
attention. It's going to take years before it's settled. I think Luke was talking about it, saying like,
Well, I mean, we thought it was going to take years to get to this point
yeah,
for them to go to
Oh, I
trial.
don't care.
Other than that, I don't think there's anything new. Oh, wait. Was it there another title fight announced?
They announced 3 title fights yesterday, I think.
we can get to it.
296, 297, or 297, 298, 296, something like that.
Probably leave those for another day unless you want to do a very quick one. But
No.
well, that's it for our preview of UFC 295. We'll be back with our review of the fights on episode 11 of Just Bleed Radio, and we'll see just how bad our picks were. Until then, don't forget to like and subscribe, and it's goodbye from Austin, Dave, and myself, Dangermouse. Goodbye.
Bye.
Later.
Bye. Bye, Austin.
Bye, Dave, you son of a bitch.
I don't care about the goddamn lawsuit. Like, goddamn,
God,
I care.
It's not
But
that
I
hard to
don't
talk
like-
about it.
We talked about it last time. It's
Yeah,
like,
you just didn't want to talk about it again.
yeah, I mean, they got a day. Look,
Oh my god, you make it sound like it's fucking torture.
it is torture. Chinese water got tortured.
No, it's not. It's really not. You're just overreacting. It's fine. You know what you did?